today. So happy birthday, sis. I hope you have an awesome day. Sorry I don't get to be with you, but glad I got to see you, I guess about a week ago. So this is my buddy, Dr. Nick, and I'm super excited to have him with us today. He is a social media marketing strategist, and I love his fresh approach. I love also that he is the only, well, I'm going to let you talk about story brand and why is that so important, Nick, when it comes to social media. So start by just letting everyone know who you are and how you got to this place right here.
So my name is Dr. Nick Silveri. I am a chiropractor, graduated from Logan in 2006. Have owned at least one practice ever since I graduated. And I stopped seeing patients in 2011 to focus more on the business building side of my practice. In 2015, I hired my first marketing implementer, and I realized, aha, that is what chiropractors needed. And so I started the first done-for-you content marketing agency for chiropractors in 2017, which is Leverage Media. And we've been doing that for the last 3 years. I'm in my practice right now. So we use my practice as kind of a test kitchen almost to figure out what works, what doesn't. And then we take that out to our clients and to the masses. And you and I met at ChiroFest and instantly became best friends. So I'm a little bit hurt that your sister is your best friend and not me.
Well, Nick, there's a lot of years left ahead of us.
That's true.
Shift that around.
That's right. I'll catch her someday.
Yeah. It's a popular spot that a lot of people are vying for, but
yeah,
I
I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about hey Callie, good to see you. Loved the Gary V video. Did you just do a Gary V video, Nick?
Yeah, so I just posted my Gary V interview that I did where we dove into basically his advice. I'd never heard him give chiropractic specific advice. So I was lucky enough to be able to get an opportunity to interview him. And I gave him 4 different stages of practice building from 0 to $1 million plus. And I gave him some context around like the types of people or where they're coming from at each stage. And he just gave amazing advice. So if you go to my Dr. Nick Silveri page, there's a link that you can opt in for that.
And that's the Dr. period Nick Silveri, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure that ends up, let's see. So go to Dr. Nick Silveri.
On Facebook, I should say.
Facebook page for Gary V's Chiro specific tips. Mm-hmm. Wow, and what a big dog. Talking with Gary V.
The biggest. Well, he's the biggest, not me. I was just lucky.
Okay, so I don't know how to put that up there, but I'll drop it in the comment section. Or awesome. Kelly, can you put Dr. period Nick Silveri Facebook page for me? Or just grab it and throw it in there. I would appreciate it. All right, so let's even talk about that. Let's talk about the importance of being seen with influencers and making a name for yourself such that when you ask them for an interview, they say yes. I mean, all of you who are following me, you know that I interview some pretty amazing individuals. And if you follow me, you also will know that I just go for it. And, when I meet somebody new, and I did the same thing with Nick. Mm-hmm. I met him at ChiroFest. I'm like, let's do a Facebook Live interview. And hey, can you help my tribe and provide value? And 100% of the time I get yes. And I firmly believe a lot of it is just our energy. I just expect everyone to say yes. Mm-hmm. And so that's the energy I come to them with. So how did you get this interview with a global influencer like Gary V?
So I went to his 4Ds day where you go and learn from his team for a day. And, I learned from one of my mentors early on in the agency world. I went to a conference with him, and this was before he had really kind of grown into what he is now. And he was just like, what's that?
Is that Jason?
No, his name's Mike.
Okay.
But Mike is, he is just like, he goes for it. He's like you. He's just like, he assumes they're going to say yes. And he just asked everybody. And so he's interviewed Grant Cardone, Russell Brunson, lots of marketing people that are a big deal in that world. And it's just like all because he said yes. And everyone that he asked that said yes, he like asked the next step up and the next step up and the next step up. And he's just like, and so I watched him do that at a conference we were at, and I'm like, you should just ask if like you want to talk to somebody, if you want to interview somebody, if you need something from someone, kind of, maybe couch it in a way to where they're more likely to say yes, but ask for it. So.
And I think with that, my mindset is always like, I want to get to know them. I'm sure they want to get to know me. Duh.
Of course, yeah.
And they probably, my audience may not know them. So of course, if they're a smart, like they're wanting to move their brand ahead, there may be somebody in my audience or lots of people in my audience that want to get to know them. So that's another reason all of you who are watching now or watch this later, stake your claim. Take that flag and stake your claim and be known in your community, and start with the movers and shakers in your community. And you know what? They may not even know anything about Facebook Live interview. It's totally okay. If you're in the boot camp, then there are Facebook tools that I've given you for Facebook Live interviews where you send instructions to the person you're going to interview. You do like a trial run with them so they feel confident, then go live. And yeah, you may mess up, but who cares? At least you're out there doing it. One of my tricks is I've never watched one of my Facebook Lives. So I know while I'm doing it, like, how could I have made that better? And so I just keep a journal of, hey, here's one tip the next time you do it to make it a little bit better. But like, don't critique yourself too much. I would encourage you that the ones that are out there are the ones that are just like going for it. So Nick,
Barb, real quick, more importantly of like how I got the interview, the more important part is why he said yes. And the reason why he said yes, this is my first episode because I'm launching a podcast. So it's called Path to $1 Million Podcast. So, and it's going to be all about how to go from zero to $1 million practice, right? And the reason why he said yes to a podcast that had 0 listeners was because he is all about creating content at scale. And the only way, if you are always just talking to a camera and you just keep saying the same things over and over again, you don't get to your brain doesn't start to work on new angles. So the reason why he does all these really small podcasts, because he does quite a bit of them. The reason why he does these podcasts is A, to get exposure to their audience, which is great. But then B, because I'm going to spend lots of money to make sure that lots of chiropractors, so if they don't know who Gary Vee is, they will soon know, right? But the reason why is because he wants to be asked questions. That's why he does a lot of Q&A on his keynotes and why he does a lot of podcast interviews. But he wants to be asked questions that maybe he never thought of himself. Yeah. And it makes him go to a place that he wouldn't have done on his own. And so it helps him either create new pieces of content for himself, because he'll post himself on interviews on his podcast. So that you get to hear more about him and how he feels about things. But the other thing is it gives him like little nuggets where he's like, oh, I should probably go deeper on that. And you'll notice like he'll say something one time in a podcast and then he'll start to integrate it into his own content and the way he asks questions.
I love that. And I hope everyone heard, like, he's hoping somebody asks him a question he doesn't know the answer to.
Yes.
What a total reframe. Like, most of us want to go in and have everything like mapped out. Like, no. Like, go into new territory where you're getting asked questions that require you to step up, where either have to do your own research or you have to like learn from new people. And, I love that you said you went to like his place, right? But like you first invested money with him. Mm-hmm. And then he said yes to your interview. So for those of you who are wanting to take it up, like you gotta reach into your pocket, right? You gotta be in those places, which typically means spending some money. Like, just like I've shared with many of you, my whole journey of like then getting to know Garrett and Rich Christensen. And then that whole thing started with hiring Matthew Loop as my social media coach, right? And then that led to this connection. And now I'm with Nick, and now I've met Nick. So of course I'm going to ask Nick to do an introduction for Gary Vee and I. What's the worst thing Nick could say? No, but he's not gonna. I know.
I don't know him well enough to introduce you, but sure.
Yeah. So it's always just like stepping out. And please, all of you know that those of us who you see stepping out, it's not because we have every step figured out. Like just before we land, like we're figuring out like, all right, where does this next one take us? So Nick, how have you done that so successfully in your career, stepping out even before you have it all mapped out or know all of the answers? Like what are your ninja secrets in your own life for that?
I'm a big believer in myself. And so I always think that I'll figure it out. Like I'm always overextended, whether it's time-wise or sometimes investment-wise, in my practice as well. Like when I was building my practice, part of the interview that I did with Gary, we were talking about the stage where a lot of chiropractors get stuck in that 250 to 500 range. And he was like, you've got to accept less money. You have to keep your personal overhead low so you can pour back into the practice that allows you to hockey stick later on. And that was always me. Like I've never made a ton of money out of my practice because I was more interested in reinvesting, whether it was in equipment or people or marketing, that allowed it to grow to where it is today. And my leverage media is similar to that, in that I am always, I spend 10 grand a month on coaching and mentoring because I don't know everything that there is to know about Facebook ads or the different changes that get made with Google. And so we always have to be updating things. I'm investing in things like Gary's event and lots of other masterminds and events like that. I mean, that was probably one of the bigger ones, but I always think I'll figure it out. So if I can get information, I can figure out what to do with that information.
Yeah.
To me, like information and execution are the two things that I value the most. So I'll pay for information and I'll pay for somebody to implement my ideas.
I love that. And we are our greatest resource.
Oh, for sure.
Each one of you, you are your best employee, right? You are your greatest piece of equipment. So I'm forever amazed at docs who will spend $40,000 on a digital x-ray machine, but yet when it comes to investing in themselves, they're like, oh, let's look for the budget. Let's look for the free Facebook page. It's like, are you kidding? Like you are your greatest investment and you will never outperform what's between your ears. So it's a mindset. And that's one thing that I have always found with having, I usually have a couple personal coaches and each one is gifted in their different areas of bringing to light, like Gary Vee says, like asking me questions I didn't know before, like taking me to levels that I gotta step it up in order to play at that level. So before we end this, let's go through and just give some really powerful nuggets on if a doc is watching this and their social media is kind of like not so strong. They're not consistently seeing a return for their time. Let's say they're not even doing Facebook ads yet or Instagram ads or anything like that. Mm-hmm. They're just like pumping out. They're just posting.
Yeah.
Right? So they're just kind of like not new to the game, but they're not really seeing a whole lot of return on their investment. Mm-hmm. Like what are the top three things that you'd say, this is what you got to do?
Okay. So it all starts, the way I look at your online presence are two things that really matter the most to me. Number one is going to be content creation, being like creating yourself as an expert in your space. And then number two is that your website has got to convert people. It's got to be clear and explain to people what it is that you do. So you'd mentioned story brand earlier. If you've ever read the book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, it's all about making your message as simple as possible for the people that are landing on that page that could potentially do business with you. So most chiropractors, I just did a strategy session this morning with an office that is very successful, but they had like 50 pages on their website, and I'm like, you just don't need all of that. They were all very short, and I was like, people just do not surf around on a website the way that they used to because they're all on their mobile devices. So your website has to be set up in a story brand model. So I'm a certified guide in the story brand process. I'm the only chiropractor in the world that's certified guide. And I take people through that process and I help them create websites that are very clear in the messaging and that also convert. So that's number one, is like, you've got to have a place, like a home base that they can go and find out how to do business with you and why they should do business with you. The number two is the content side of it. So you have to be creating content. Like you were talking about Facebook ads and Instagram ads. The problem with most chiropractors is that they're using these social media channels for sales. And they're not. Yeah.
Let's go back for a second.
Yeah.
About your website.
Okay.
Right. And let's just like pause there for a second. By what do you specifically mean about your website must convert?
So when someone lands on your page, the message that is on there should be geared towards new patients. 95% of your traffic are going to be from people that have never been to your site before. And the 5% that have been to your site before are probably patients just looking for your phone number. So we don't need your newsletter. No one cares. We don't need healthy living tips. We don't need the exercise videos. There's other places for that. What you need on your website is to enter into the conversation that potential new patients are already having in their mind. They're already worried about this condition that they have. They're already wondering, is it going to last? Is it going to last forever? Why is it coming back more frequently or more significantly? And the activity, the way that their life is being affected, that is what is causing them to go to your website. It is a minor miracle for someone in your town to land on your website. So if they do, you probably should have put in some effort to like answer the questions that maybe they already have. And all of the questions that they have about their situation should be answered in your website, like on the homepage. Like it should be one long page with a few supporting pages. But all the information that you want from them, they're all going to land on your homepage. You should have everything that you want for them to learn on that homepage. If you go to leveragemedia.com, which is lvrgmedia.com, if you go to that, you will see a story branded website. If you are a chiropractor who is looking for done for you marketing services, that website will speak to you. If you're a dentist looking to learn how to do digital marketing, not so much. Like the headline is done for you, digital marketing for chiropractors, right? Tell your story, blah, 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 blah. That is what that site is all for. So you want your site to be the chiropractic version of that. You want people to know, because in my office, people don't call and say, hey, you know, I'm doing everything right. I'm at probably like an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 health-wise, and I want to go to a 9 or a 10 via removing subluxation. That doesn't ever happen. No one is calling me for wellness unless they like move into the area, right? But that's like 1 out of 1,000. The other 999 are looking for some kind of body signal relief, right? Condition-based relief, right? So focus on the body signals or the conditions that you can help the most with. If you love reversing diabetes, your website should probably talk a lot about diabetes. If you're neck pain, back pain, and headaches, should really talk a lot about that. I was just on a call with one of your boot campers yesterday. It's a husband and wife team. The husband is like a functional movement guy. The wife is a pediatric person, and they were trying to do it all on one website, and it was so confusing.
Confusing.
Right?
Okay.
And I told them, I was like, you guys are talking too much about what you want to talk about. No one cares about SFMA, right? What they care about is, how can you help me with my problem?
Yes. Speak to me.
So that's how. Oh, and then the other thing. So number one is have clear messaging. Number two is have a clear call to action. One call to action, not 17. Not learn more, contact us, call today, schedule a new patient, check out the new patient special. I mean, it's just like nonsense. Every time I look at a website, just pick one. Whatever you want them to actually do. Do you want them to schedule an appointment? Then have that be the call to action. It doesn't need to be learn more. You don't want them to learn more. You want them to schedule an appointment. So just tell them what you want them to do.
Nice.
On my Leverage Media site, I want you to schedule a strategy session. That's my end goal.
Yeah.
So there's not a bunch of different things that you can choose to do. It's like you can do one thing.
I love that. Make it really simple, because the confused mind says no. So they read, they read, go. Like, let's take it right to action. Let's take it right to action. No more.
And it's clarity of message that allows people to, if you ask them to burn too many mental calories, they're just, like you said, a confused mind will not decide. They're just going to go do something else. They might not look at another chiropractor's website, but they're just going to bounce off of yours.
Yep.
So instead of worrying about, oh, how can I spend more money on SEO so that Google gives me free traffic? No, you are responsible for driving your traffic, whether it's through content or Google Ads. Those are the two ways that you really get people to your website. But once they're there, if you can convert 7 out of 100 instead of 2 out of 100, you just got 3.5 times more conversions than you got with your SEO hacked nonsense website that's just cookie cutter that somebody created one time and they just plug everybody into it.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute.
Sure.
There are a lot of those, and we're not going to mention any of those brands, but you go to a chiropractor's website, and you and I look at lots of them, and it's like, oh, I know who made that one because it looks like the last one I saw from the other chiropractor, perhaps even in your same town.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what does that do to the general public when they land on that and it looks like everybody else's. Especially,
I don't think they know. Like the general public doesn't know that it looks like everybody else's. Like they don't see as many as we do. The problem is not that they don't look fine. They do. They look okay, right? The problem is number one, they're built for desktop, which means they have 50 pages. They have drop-down menus on drop-down menus on drop-down menus. Like when's the last time you went through a drop-down menu on your phone?
Never.
Like you just scroll, right? So that's why the homepage needs to be the place where new patients can find out all the information that they need. You can have other supporting pages, but they're not that necessary. Like you should be able to get all the information you need on that front page. Number one is that. Number two is that they're just trying to lock you in forever, right? They're trying to get $200 a month from you forever. And so they're going to make it to where it's easy for you to say yes to set up. They'll waive the setup fees, anything to get you into that $200. Because as we all know, monthly recurring revenue is like the game, right? So the problem is that when people don't have a real investment in it, they're just like, okay, well, you built it. I gave you the pictures you asked for, and then they just do the thing that they did 1,000 times before. They've got the same copy. It's not, and then they just leave it on the chiropractor. What I have found with my done-for-you services is that chiropractors need a lot of hand-holding and a lot of support because they're busy. Not because they're lazy, they're just busy. And they don't always put marketing at the very tippy top of their priority list, right? They always say, oh, I'll get to that, right? With websites, the canned websites, they just want to get something up and going so you can pay that $200 a month. The problem is they're like, hey, listen, you can go into your dashboard and you can edit everything. And then from my experience, when I look at them, I would say less than 10% ever go in and like really spend time optimizing their copy and their website. So then when people land on it, it feels very like SEO hacked because they stuff keywords in there so that because the way that you're going to judge your website company is like, if they give you a report, it's like, oh, you're ranked number 3 for this keyword, and number 1 for this one, and number 7 for this one, but we're moving up, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Like SEO barely matters anymore. What really matters is, can you consistently control the flow of traffic to your website? And that's through writing blogs, Google Ads, content, being kind of everywhere so that when people are trying to find out more information about you, they look for you versus like, let me type in Springfield, Illinois chiropractor and then pick one. Because that's a zero-sum game. It's like the old school Yellow Pages. They either called you or they called somebody else. Nobody has 2 chiropractors. So it's like you either win or don't.
So let's pause there for a second. So let me break this down. So what Nick is saying is it used to be that people would go and Google Springfield chiropractor, but now instead the website. So if you have a funnel, right, your social media and all of the things you're doing out here to bring attention, which is where people live, right? Like we all live in the world of social.
Yes.
So they see a Facebook Live that you've done, or they see your Instagram page or your LinkedIn page or your Facebook page, or, like you got tagged in a Facebook group for mommies or something. And now they're like, all right, so Dr. Barbara Eaton, they're going to specifically put in my name and then come to my website. So that's what Nick is saying. And that's why it's so important then when they come to your website that it's you, like it's not something canned, that they come to it and go, Oh, like, yeah, this is who I want to go and talk to. Am I doing that properly? Saying that?
100%. Because
Okay.
but when they type in Dr. Barbara Eaton and they go to some website that they can just tell is just, it's hacked for SEO, it's cookie cutter content. You can tell that the doctor didn't spend 5 minutes on it.
But how does the consumer know that? Like, we know that because we're marketers.
Like if I went to I mean I'm in the website world now, but I before that I could tell if somebody put effort into it. You can always tell if somebody, like if you go to a restaurant and like the like floor's dirty, you get a sense of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you don't know anything about running a restaurant, but you just kind of get a sense about things. If there's stains on the menus, you know, if the if the bartender's texting instead of like helping you, that's just like, it's a culture thing, you know? And so
yeah.
Your website is, it's like, it drives me crazy. Your website is like your business card online. It is like your thing where people like are gonna come and look. The fact that they don't spend any time worrying about it is crazy to me.
Your website is your online, basically your online calling card. Like, will if people look at your website, would they know you?
Yeah.
Right? Because we're looking to do, you know, I think now more than ever, we want relationship, which is really weird because most people live on this, right? However, they really want a relationship.
Yeah. And they really want your brand to feel good. You know, like I spend a lot of time on the aesthetics of my office brand, of my leverage brand, because I'm like, if you're going to spend, you know, like an investment in a lot of our offices is a pretty big investment, right? And so I don't want you to feel like we're cutting all the corners that we can just to be as profitable as we can. Same way with leverage. Like leverage is an online digital company, but I want people to feel good about it when they like do some research behind it. You know, like I could have just thrown up that Gary Vee video and like been like, hey guys, I did a Gary Vee video. But like we edited it, we did an intro, we did an outro, we have a landing page for it, we have an opt-in, we have a follow-up sequence, we've got a whole thing. And it's like, it's a good experience. But it's because we spent weeks like talking about it and planning it because it was it's a big important thing for us, right? Your office is a big important thing for you. And if you plan on being there more than just like the next couple of months, you might want to invest in like how people see you in your community for the next 50 years, not for the next 30 days. And that's why we got off track a little bit. Is that everything on the website? Because I don't want to forget to talk about this whole like Facebook ad, Instagram ad thing.
Yeah. And I think it's so important, like your brand, you know, like we spend all this time to drive people to our social media pages or our website and make sure that their first impression of you is powerful. Like I know I've been working on changing over our website now for the last like 4 months because I want every single thing to be perfect. I want every single thing when you land on it to be like, that's the woman that I've been told about. Like, oh yeah, now I get why everyone is talking that way, right? And so it's just,
you don't have to do it all at the same time. You can do it little bits at a time. Like take one page in 1 week and optimize it. Like not optimize it SEO wise, optimize it the way that you want it, the way that you want it to look.
Yeah. Like when you step in, does it feel like, ooh, this feels good, right? That's really how we want it. That's how I want the experience to be, is like whether you're watching a Facebook Live or you're reading a post, to really understand who I am. Because if we're fit, let's rock and roll together. Yeah. If not, then bounce and find somebody else. But and for those who are watching who are like, yeah, but you don't understand, Nick and Barb, like I'm so busy. Yeah, I get it. But don't be so busy to pass over the details that represent your brand. Like you're
the one that decided to not just be an associate somewhere. You're the one that decided to run a business. You built the life that you have. So like nobody's too busy for the most important things in their life. You just don't think it's that important to have a website that that exudes what it is that you want to exude. It's just not, just admit that. It's not that you're too busy. It's just that it's not important to you. I'm telling you that it should be more important to you, because the people that do not focus on that stuff don't realize how much they're missing out. I'm in a town of 100,000 people, and we get a lot of new patients because our brand is on point. Our marketing is on point. Our Google ads are on point. Our Facebook ads are on point. Our content is on point, because I focus on the details of that stuff. And long before I had a marketing agency, I focus on the details of that stuff because it matters. And just because you don't care about it doesn't mean that other people don't. And if you want your practice to grow, then it's just like you started a business to like, just don't. Here's my thing. And this is, I love that this whole interview is about Gary, but Gary is always like, you know, because he's hustle, 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 but he's trying to build a $1 billion brand. He's like, if you want to like live your life and make $76,000 a year and be on the softball team, fine, but don't complain about it. If you want to make $500,000 a year, but you're only willing to do the work for $100,000.
Oh, amen.
Amen. Preach.
Yeah. All right. So I want to stop at one other point about building your brand, and you were talking about the boot camp couple. So this to me is so important. Like I don't care what business you're in, it's a crowded market space if you're going to be generic, right? Like the market space is only available now to a specialist. So for all of you who are just like, I just want to serve everybody, I'm telling you, you will have to spend so much money to stake your claim in the marketplace. You have got to take your flag and say, bam, this is who I serve. This is who I'm a specialist for. And if you're like, yeah, but I really love serving lots of different people. Okay, but you still only have a favorite.
Yeah.
You have one favorite. Think about who you see on your schedule and who are you so excited to see come in. Like, oh my gosh, like Mary's coming in today. I absolutely love serving her. And when she leaves, I have poured into her and I get as much from her as I give to her. That is your ideal practice member. And think about like, where does she go? And what is it about her that you love serving? And what have you helped her overcome? You know, like what body signal have you helped her overcome that you keep helping her overcome that now is allowing her to live a certain quality of life? Like stake that claim and don't worry, like don't resist the temptation to have this scarcity mindset of, yeah, but Barb, if I stake my claim, then no one else will come in. Mm-hmm. I never said that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that you are the beacon for that. So let's go back for a second then, Nick, and let's say it's either a husband and wife team, or let's say a doc is really good at helping individuals with diabetes and also has, you know, like carved their name in another lane. Do they have two different websites?
I think so. I think you should, because the person that has headaches does not care that you can help babies. The person with low back pain doesn't care that you also help neuropathy, right? So what I told this couple, I was like, listen, you're not going to build 3 different websites. Just focus on one. That one main website should be kind of general to anybody. So that if you're not, because he was very like CrossFit, functional movement, she was very pediatrics and pregnancy. And I'm like, if you're going to drive traffic, here's what I said. I said, have a website to where if they land on it, you're talking to them about how you can help them with their problems. Your content though, I told them you probably need to create because they were 2 separate people. I was like, you probably need to create Dr. So-and-so and Dr. So-and-so public profile pages. And then you just talk about the things that you want to talk about on that page. And then you talk about the things that you want to talk about on this page. And then you can share it from your public profile pages onto your office page if you want to do that. But the way that you do the Facebook Lives, the way that you get tagged with other people should be the Dr. Nick Silveri page. Instead of like, I don't do anything from the Leverage Media page because no one cares about Leverage Media. They care about me. They care about doing business with me because I seem like I know what I'm talking about, right? So I do everything from the Dr. Nick Silveri page because people want to do business with people, not logos. So your logo doesn't matter. Like no one cares about your name. No one cares about your brand in terms of like, you know, what color it is or whatever. They care about you. That you can help them with their problem. The story brand thing is all about Make yourself the guide, not the hero. And too many chiropractors make themselves the heroes. And when a patient is coming into, they have their own movie playing in their mind, and they are the center of their own universe. So they only care about what's in it for them. They may not say that out loud like everyone's polite, but in their mind, they're just like, what's in this for me? So the more that you can talk to them about, hey, we are all positioned here to help you. I'm just here to take you from point A to point B. The guide is the character that is already transformed. They've already gone through the process of becoming who they're meant to be. The hero in any story is a weak character. Luke Skywalker had a lot of shortcomings in the early Star Wars movies. He needed Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi to help him transform into what he became. That is your patients. Your patients are the Luke Skywalker. You are the Yoda. You don't want to be the one with all the problems. You want to be the one that has authority and empathy. Those are the two things that make you a good guide, or empathy and authority. Let them know that you understand them, and let them know that you've helped lots of people just like them get to where they want to go.
I love that. And for all of you who are in the boot camp, did you hear what Nick just said? That you've helped lots of people just like them, which is part of our lead in to our care instructions, right? My care instructions are based on the following three things. Your health history and the findings of your exams. Number two, my experience helping lots of people just like you, and here are their stories. So your website needs to reflect that too, that you are the answer for all of these things. So let me just break this down again. So here's what Nick is saying. You want to have a business page, and a business Facebook page is the same nowadays as a fan page, right?
Yeah.
On Facebook. So back in the old days, 100 years ago on Facebook, you had a business page, you had a fan page, there were all these different things. And now you either have a personal page or you have a business page. So a lot of you have interacted with me on my personal page, and now I'm shifting more to my business page. And part of the reason why, I'll just tell you, is because it's going to help my Facebook ads, because now there's more activity on my business page. So my business page is Dr. Barbara Eaton. It's not 56-day chiropractic boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's what Nick was saying, because you're interacting with me. Like, yes, that is me, but you're interacting with me. So you want to have a page that is your name, right? So then also, Nick, then do they want to have a website that is their name?
I don't think that that's important. I think just having, but my thing with what you were asking before, should they have multiple websites? If you're trying to help women that are pregnant have a healthy pregnancy, and you're trying to help little babies, that's a niche specific, unless that's your whole practice. Like when I talk to people that are like really heavy into pediatrics, even the ones that are the heaviest, right? They're still only like 25 to 50% of that market. The majority of their people are still regular chiropractic patients. Right? So my theory is this: my office page is basically set up for just kind of like general chiropractic, like pain-based stuff, like we can help you, we're experts, blah, 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 right? But anything that, like, we're launching a neuropathy and a knee pain niche soon. So actually, I'll give you an example of something I've already.
In your practice, you mean?
Yeah, in my practice.
Okay.
I mean, we can help people market it as well. But for example, when I used to be called the Chiropractors, right? Now we're the Springfield Wellness Center. The Chiropractors, I added massage. So when we would market for massage as the Chiropractors, we didn't have a lot of success, because people that want massage don't want to, they're like, is the chiropractor going to do it? Are they going to try to sell me into chiropractic? So what we did is we came up with the Massage Club. Now when we market massage, it's out as the Massage Club. It's just a brand on our door. It's still the Springfield Wellness Center, but now people are like, oh, that makes sense to me. They don't have to burn any mental energy. They can understand that it's a place that does massage, and it seems like they probably have some kind of monthly membership, and they would be correct. And that is our massage section, and that's it. But we made it, and we have a Massage Club page where they can go and find out everything they need to know about massage. And it doesn't mention anything about chiropractic or neuropathy or 8 weeks to wellness or any of the other things that we do in our practice. It only talks about massage. Same way our yoga program only talks about our yoga program.
Nice. And so what Nick is saying there is if you try to be all things to all people, then when I come, I'm like confused. It's like shopping. I hate going to a store that has like lots of options. I want to go to a store that has like, you get this one or this one. Great. I want that one.
Right.
You know,
That's when you are kind of just like looking at options. Now, what you would like though is if you walked in and there was a personal shopper and they had all the brands you like. They had all the things that you would buy elsewhere, and that personal shopper is like, all right, so I think this bag would be right for you. It would go well with these shoes and this dress and, you know, this gun holster or whatever you wear in Alaska, right?
the
so that's the way,
today.
That's the way that I look at marketing. I have all of these different things in my practice. We have massage, acupuncture, neuropathy, knee pain, all these different ways to bring people into the door. But when we're marketing out to just the general public about any of those one things, we try to just talk about that one thing. Okay. Yeah. When they come in though, they talk to their doctor, and then their doctor can develop a plan for them. And all the stuff is in one place. We have 5,200 square feet. We've got lots of different providers, and people love that that's the biggest thing that we hear from people is like, oh, it's nice that everything is in one place.
Well, all right. So just a second, I got to look and see something. It's so funny because I said, as soon as we got on this today, I'm like, we'll just make this short. But
yeah, we're doing a terrible job.
I'm talking to you. I always learn so much. All right. So basically, we can have lots of things in our practice. You can have chiropractic, you can have nutrition, you can have massage, but just make sure in your marketing, you're speaking specifically to that individual who's looking for the massage club. It happens to be under your roof, that it's not like, oh, well, what is this? Like, am I going to come in and it's going to be a massage and then I'm going to have this and then I'm going to have this? Like, once they come in,
then they start being like, oh, what else is here?
Oh, yeah.
Think that there's other stuff.
Right. So it's important to have clarity and consistency of your messaging for the different directions.
I'm gonna try doing this, and I'm hoping that and actually no, the internet was kind of shaky, but I wanted to show you my my sign. Let me see if I can pull this. It's not going to be able to. Yeah, you can't see it. My sign is the Springfield Wellness Center. There we go. My sign is the Springfield Wellness Center across. It's like a big like brick sign, you know. Springfield Wellness Center across the top, and then the Chiropractors, the Massage Club, Auto Accident Work Injury Center, Rapid Recovery Center, 8 Weeks to Wellness, Fit Yoga. So I have six brands underneath the Springfield Wellness Center, so that when somebody who got marketed to for the Massage Club pulls up, they're just like, oh, that's the place. They don't care that there's also other names on the board. When they come in, they're like, oh, it's all one place. Okay, I get it. But they're not like mad about it. You know, they like it.
I was just thinking of, it's like the marquee for a movie theater. Mm-hmm. Like, here is the Tecate movie theater, and here are all the movies, and you pull up and you're like, oh, cool. Like, that's the one. I don't know, The Incredibles number 10 or whatever. That's the one. Like, oh, there's other movies, but I want to make sure there's that one.
You know, it's a better example of this that I think is a nationwide thing, so people would understand it. If you ever go to like those furniture stores where it's like you can tell, like, it's once you get in, it's all one big open space, but from the outside it looks like a strip mall, and there's like the mattress store is here and it has a different front. Then the living room stuff is here and it has a different name. It's like Denver Mattress Company and Living Room Essentials, and then the third thing is something else that's complimentary. But once you go in there, it's just this big, massive warehouse, and you're just like, oh, this is all the same thing. It's all the same company. They're just like, when you type in mattress company, they want to show up Denver Mattress Company, and they probably get their mail. It's probably like Suite A, Suite B, Suite C, but they are not separate companies. It's one company that's trying to sell you everything for your house.
Yeah. And I love
that is this.
You do become the one-stop shopping. So now
you don't have to do that. You don't have to do, like, my thing is complicated. Like, I make things more complicated than they need to be, because complicated in my mind usually means that you're offering more and doing things like the right way, because people want nutrition, they want exercise, they want massage, they want chiropractic. So I'd rather them get it from me than not. It can be a headache though. And it's the same way with leverage media. All the people, and that's my next point that I want to get to, is all these people that I compete with that are digital marketing agencies. that are basically like 24-year-old kids that took $1,000 Facebook ads course, and they're now experts on how to market a chiropractic office. Ask them the last time. What's that?
And never been to a chiropractor.
Never been, and some of them do, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm so passionate about chiropractic." It's like bullshit. Like as soon as you can charge $2,500 a month to roofers instead of $1,500 a month to chiropractors, you're going to charge roofers $2,500. They're all doing. I'm in these groups. You know how chiropractors are all in groups. Agency owners are all in groups as well, and they
talk about that.
I wish that I could screenshot and show you these conversations. They do not care about helping chiropractors see more people. Maybe some of them do, but that's like 5%. But whether they care or not is irrelevant, because results are all that really matters. Whether they care or not is irrelevant. The problem with it is that they only do one thing. They try to get you to offer your first visit as cheap as possible because they know that's going to get you as many leads as possible. You're going to hopefully get some of them in, hopefully close them, and not fire them the next month. That is not what we do. So I get lumped in with that just because they hear digital marketing agency, but I'm a content marketing agency. I'm a personal branding marketing agency because I'm trying to help you tell the story of your practice, not just get you as many leads as possible on Facebook. Like we run Facebook ads too. Like we'll get you new patients through the door, but the way I explain it is we are a content marketing agency that happens to do lead generation only because chiropractors are a very impatient bunch when it comes to marketing dollars. So if I'm not getting you an immediate return on your investment, you're not going to stick around for very long. So I'm trying to buy myself time until that personal branding stuff sets in so that now you're able to reap the reward because you're the only one in your town that's going to be willing to stick with it because you're paying somebody to do it for you and to hold you accountable. And that's the same reason why people come in and do weight loss in my office, our 8 Weeks to Wellness program, not because they couldn't find the information online on how to lose weight. It's that they need a program that is structured, that is proven to get results, and they need accountability. And that's the exact, there are so many parallels between my leverage media clients and my Springfield Wellness Center clients. It's not even funny. Like I just actually switched for my strategy sessions. I just switched to a day 1, day 2, just because it makes more sense to chiropractors. It's like, let's talk about your thing on day 1. If it's a good fit, we'll do a day 2. And then we'll talk about what we can do for you. And we'll give you a care plan, basically. Yeah. So that's it drives me crazy that chiropractors, and my point that I wanted to get back to was that, again, Gary talks about these social platforms are being used almost exclusively, especially by chiropractors, almost exclusively for sales. And what they are really powerful to do is marketing. And marketing is branding. Sales is the $21 new patient special, right? And if all you ever do is sales, you live in this, it's not like you get to bounce around to different towns where they don't know that you just did that last month. After 6 months of it, it gets a little old. That's why everybody does pretty well for 3 months and then they stop doing well because that's it. Like these agencies don't, if you call and complain to them, they don't have any new ideas. They're just like, yeah, oh, let me try something new.
Let's put more money into your Facebook button. Like that's something I so appreciate. Like I had an agency doing my stuff, whatever, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And like my Facebook ad budget, like when it wasn't, like when the ads stopped performing, they're like, oh, do more. And I think by the time I started with Matt Loop, I was like a ridiculous amount of money. He's like, okay, we're going to cut that out immediately and go from, like $200 a day to $7 a day. And lo and behold, I got better results because Facebook is more than happy to take your money. I did figure that one out. Sure. Yeah. Hey, so I got to jump on another Facebook Live, but here's what I want to do. So we covered one of the 3 parts, right? So we covered your website must represent you. It must draw people in to who you are and make sure, like Nick said, it can't be about you. It's got to be like the relationship that you're going to have with them. So that's number 1. So Nick and I are going to bring you number 2 and number 3. So we'll get that scheduled for next week, and maybe we'll do one next week and then another one the next week of these top 3 ways to really shift your marketing. And we're talking marketing, which is about relationship. Sale is about the call to action.
Right.
Is that fair? Can we do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So then next week, be watching for Nick and I to come back. We're going to do part 2. And then the week after, we'll do part 3. So thank you all so much. Make sure, Nick, pop in just the link to the Gary V interview, since we started talking about that, if you would. And then
I think she added it in there, but you can just go to Dr. Nick Silveri, my Facebook page, and it's on there.
Okay. And then is that where they should go if they want to schedule a strategy session with you?
No, go to Leverage Media, which is lvrgmedia.com.
Will you put it in the comments?
Sure.
Okay, cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Alrighty.
See you. Bye.